Hello, good morning, and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. My name is Graham Hughes. It is Monday, the 12th of January, 2026. God, January traditionally has at least 57 days. I think it's going to have even more this year. So, big shout out to everyone in the chat. Listen, I'm having some work done downstairs, so there might be some banging. It's actually making me camera wobble. Oh, Jesus. Okay. The banging shouldn't go on for long, I don't think. Unless they can hear me and they're taking the piss. Wake up. Got everyone listening on headphones. It's going to be going, oh, someone at the door. If I can start the week with a bit of scouse for Stephen Graham, the news from the Golden Globes is G'dice. G'dice? Isn't that how Australians say something is really good? They say G'day, G'dice. It's a big G'dice. I thought the banging would be done by the time we started on this, but he's literally right under my feet. The banging on the ceiling. Having a banging time, yeah. Should make some improper jokes about your parents' bedroom. No, it's too early in the morning for jokes, and there's shit going down in the world. There's shit going down. So hopefully that'll settle down a little bit now. Fingers crossed. So first of all, we're going to talk about Iran this morning. We're going to be talking about what's happening right now in Iran. There's protests there. There's an internet blackout, which makes it hard to get news in and out. They're reliant on Starlink satellites, and even they have been choked off. Protests began after the currency of Iran collapsed at the end of last month. Food prices spiked. And the bazaar traders, the merchant class, they shut their shops and they walked out. These strikes spread from Tehran to over 110 cities, and chants moved from economic anger to death to Khamenei, who is the religious leader of Iran. And he took over from the Ayatollah Khomeini. This is Khamenei, not Khomeini. After he died, as a subsequent of the 1979 revolution, that's where everything really started. What we know, I mean, 1979 was the year I was born, so it's always been like this for me. I don't remember the Shah. I don't remember those days at all. There's a lot of history in this. There's a lot of competing factors, and we've got to. The question we need to ask right now is, two questions really. Is like, will this achieve what goals will this achieve? And is Trump making a bad situation worse? Probably guess. Oh my God. What are they doing there? Possibly. What's he doing down there? Sorry about this. A bit distracting. Maybe we should come back in an hour and they're finished making so much noise. I think that this is going to go on. I might have to just give you some music to listen to. Does Iran have oil? You bet your bottom dollar it's got oil. Your petrodollar. Okay, it's still going on. Colin says, no jokes about parents' bedrooms. No one wants to think about what their parents did 9 months before they were born. Yeah, just 9 months though. Never again. Once and never again. Trump throwing a hissy fit and banning ExxonMobil from Venezuela oil bonanza. I know. Hilarious. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on with this. Do you want to just talk amongst yourselves while I'm waiting for the scraping noise to stop? What fresh hell is this? I don't know. We're having some building work done downstairs. And, they're scraping the ceiling. Scraping all the asbestos off the ceiling. Don't worry, it's not asbestos. We had it checked. Two things I ate, right? Wood chip and Artex. Most evil substances, most evil things that people ever put in their homes. Artex has got asbestos in, or it used to until the 1980s. And wood chip. If anyone has had the misfortune of having to scrape wood chip off the walls, as Pulp once sang, kind of. You'll know what a nightmare it is. I'm just going to chat with the chat before I get back onto the main subject, because this is a bit distracting. Guys and girls, dropped a letter template so you can send to your MP raising concerns about X and Rock on Politics Social and the Snowflake Discord services. Oh, brilliant. Thanks very much, Chrissy. That's really good. Maybe cut the mic and get Kat to do the show in PSL. That sounds like a plan. Background scraping equals content. I know. Wood chip is a nightmare to get, and it gives you splinters as well. It gives you, because you're scraping along and you kind of got your thumb there, and you got a big chunk of wood under your thumb. It's a general chat section of Discord servers. Look for a post by Grave Tech. Grave Tech, that's a great name. Grave Tech. The kind of grave tech I want is to set up a Dance Dance Revolution machine on Trump's grave once he carks it. Get in touch via GrahamDavidHughes.com. Oh, thanks very much, Reagan. Oh, it's gone quiet. Too quiet. Okay, should we get back onto this then? Okay, so the internet and phone connection has been cut in Iran to stop coordination of different groups. But a lot of this... a lot. Gloves, Graham. What? It's easier to overboard the ceiling than scrape the wood chip off. Overboard the ceiling. Oh yeah. Then scrape the wood chip off. Yeah. As a decorator, wood chip and Artex are the bane of our lives. Chris, hey, you man. Like, I'm not a professional decorator, but I do a lot of DIY, and fucking, having to get someone to check the Artex, and it costs 120 quid or something for someone to come and take a little chip of it off and go, has it got asbestos in it? Viper Scott's laughing. Should we talk about the Golden Globes? Because that doesn't matter. Should we talk about the Golden Globes? Come on, let's go over to the Golden Globes to find out who won. This is just filler content. If you want to skip forward 20 minutes to when we actually get into the news section of the show, we'll go to the entertainment first. So Timothée Chalamet has won his Golden Globe on the 5th time of asking, I think, or maybe the 6th time of asking. I don't know. He's been nominated loads of times before, but he's finally won it. He takes himself a little bit too seriously, I think, Timothée Chalamet. But I don't know. So yeah, I think he's good. I think he's good in June. I thought he was good in the Willy Wonka film. He's all right, I guess. One battle after another won the most prizes overall with 4 prizes, including Best Musical or Comedy. Sorry, I was going to say it's not a musical, but it is a comedy. Best Musical or Comedy Film and Best Director. And Jessie Buckley won for Best Actress for Hamnet, which also won the Best Drama. The Sinners, as we all thought was going to happen, was sidelined for some reason. I can't think of what the reason might be. It went home with the Box Office Achievement Prize as well as the Best Score. 2 things it definitely deserved, but possibly even more than that. The Globes also rewards TV shows. So you've got Stephen Graham won, so did Owen Cooper and so did Erin Doherty for Adolescence. Adolescence really sweeping the board there, which is fantastic. Jessie Buckley's so lovely. She's just so lovely. I think everyone just wants to be mates with her. Just go down the pub. Go down the pub with Jessie Buckley. And Hamnet director Chloe Zhou, she actually looked shocked when the winner was announced. I think everyone kind of figured it'd be one battle after another. But there you go. Still going on. Teyana Taylor won the Best Supporting Film Actress for one battle after another. And Stellan Skarsgård won the Best Supporting Actor for a film called Sentimental Value, which I've never even heard of. That's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? K-pop Demon Hunters won Best Animated Film and Best Song for Golden. Can't disagree with that. And Secret Agent, which is well worth watching, was named Best International Film, and it starred Wagner Moura. He won Best Drama Actor. Was he the guy out of Better Call Saul? Was he the big bad in Better Call Saul? I think was he? Let's have a look. No, Narcos. No, he was in Narcos. I knew I recognised him. My God, if you look people up, if you look up the name of someone, there's an overlay on Google saying that they won. He won the Nobel Prize. Not the Nobel Prize. I love the fact that Trump said, "Oh, give me that Nobel Prize to the woman who won the Nobel Prize for peace," and the Nobel Committee were like, "No, it doesn't work like that." Do you know what I mean? Like, if you win the Golden Boot at the World Cup, can you just give it to someone else? Say no, actually, they won it really. If you think about it, TV, Narcos, yeah, he played Pablo. That's why I recognise him. He played Pablo Escobar in Narcos. Very good TV show, but he was Brazilian. He must have had the wrong accent. I bet people in Colombia when they're watching Narcos could like tell. They were like, he doesn't. It'd be like casting a Manc to play a Scouser. Once wood chip up, it's not too bad. However, taking the bloody stuff off the wall, it's just. Once it's up, it's not so bad. It's horrible. Everyone's agreeing about wood chip and Artex. What were our parents' generation thinking? What were they thinking? Let's make this an impregnable fortress that's impossible to get rid of. Flat was very small with wood chip on the wall, says Al. Yes, indeed. I'm thinking the scrapers are right-wingers who do not want Graham's message of community and peace being touted. I mean, those reform lot, Jesus Christ, they're hiking up our council tax here by the maximum they're allowed to. They're supposed to be making these massive savings. They made no savings whatsoever. Fucking useless. Oh, apparently, the Doge thing that I said would cost more money than they would save. Yeah, it's costing more money than they saved. They actually spent over $11 billion, billion with a B, $11 billion paying people to not work. Paying people to not work. What a great use of money. What a great use of resources. Oh, believable. I also hate people who feel the need to wallpaper ceilings, says Chrissy. We're not wallpapering it, we're plastering it like a real boy. Okay, so I think they've calmed down the scraping now. Hopefully they're moving on to the plastering bit. Looking after poorly grandson today, says Gillian. Oh, lots of love and support and lemsip if they're old enough to drink lemsip. Martin, you need to pinwheel, my friend, to get the steam under it, my lord, my friend. What? You need the steam, the pinwheel. What? Yeah, having one of those the hot air thing, where you have the boiler and then the steam comes up, the steamer, and you steam off the bloody wallpaper. Jesus Christ. I'm having flashbacks. PTSD, mate. Okay, so let's get back onto Iran. So let's start off. So basically, big protests in Iran. Why have they started? Because the merchant class, the bazaaris, have kicked off because of the rial completely collapsing in value at the end of last month. The authorities have clamped down. Dozens have been killed. Thousands have been detained that we know about. And obviously, there is a press blackout. There is an internet blackout. There is a phone blackout. So it is very difficult. But why this uprising is different is because this is the bazaari class, the merchant class, who traditionally were historically loyal to the regime of Khomeini. This strike has broken the clergy merchants alliance, and the reason for this is this mad inflation they're having at the moment is wiping out middle class survival. Food shortages are affecting everybody, and also water shortages as well, which we discussed a few weeks ago when we were doing Geoscope. We were saying that Iran is running out of water. It's really running out of water because of climate change. And it all looks a bit grim, to say the least. So yeah, we've got the fact that in poor provinces, the Kurdish people who live there are leading the unrest. This isn't just urban student politics. This is something that has spread all over the country. It's not just concentrated in Tehran. It's everywhere. But we need to bear in mind there is a long pattern of crushed uprisings. The 1979 revolution, they got rid of the king, the Shah, because in the 1950s, Iran had democracy for a little while. few short years of democracy. And the oil companies didn't like that. And so Britain and the CIA got together and toppled the rightfully elected prime minister of Iran and replaced him with a king, the Shah. And the king, he compared with some of his contemporaries at the time in the 50s and in the 60s and 70s, he wasn't utterly dreadful, but he wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll say this, I haven't had any of my friends from Iran, although I haven't spoken to them because of the bloody press blackout, but I haven't had any friends in Iran telling me that they want to bring the Shah back, because this whole thing about bringing the Shah's son back to be their new king, right? That seems to be something that the expats from Iran, from the Iranian diaspora, are saying more than the people in the country itself. Now, I can't, that's just anecdotal for me. I've not no hard evidence on that, but I would be surprised. Like, don't forget, I've been to Iran, spent some time there, traveled around, stayed with families, and they are some of the most intelligent people you will ever meet. They know exactly what is going down, and they're not banjo playing bucktooth yokels like the dickheads who vote for Trump over in America. But yeah, so 1979 had the revolution, which overthrew the Shah, but it created this theocracy run at the time by the Ayatollah Khomeini, it was grim. Women went from having rights to having no rights whatsoever. There was a brutal crackdown on any kind of dissent. It was, for all intents and purposes, under I guess Sharia law, which everyone in this country is really scared of, and that's why they vote for refuck, to stop Sharia law coming here, even though the people who are telling you they're going to stop it are all paid by Saudi Arabia and the UAE. In fact, the deputy leader of refuck lives in the UAE, where they have Sharia law, but there's certain degrees of religious law, there's certain degrees of like how oppressive it is, up to and including Iran, where they still routinely hang people for being gay, to Saudi Arabia, where last year they executed more people than ever before, where you are liable to be locked up if you're a woman if you pluck your eyebrows. Yeah. In 1999, there were student protests in Iran. This is the first sort of big uprising since 1979. But this ended in arrests and killings. The dial didn't move that much. And then the 2009 Green Movement was smashed by force. The fuel protests in 2019, they killed around 1,500 people. And then in 2022, the Mahsa Amini uprising killed over 500. The authorities killed over 500. Every wave ends in repression, generally without reform. But in the last few years, you've been seeing more and more images of women not wearing their headscarves, people going out in the streets, women going out in like companies and all this kind of stuff, which signaled that the regime, while not necessarily falling apart, it's probably not going to end in regime change, I don't think, but we'll get to that in a moment. They were loosening their grip on everyday people and how they lived their everyday lives. One of the things that we've got going for the fact that this could change the government of Iran, hopefully for the better, is that sanctions have gutted the economy. June's war with Israel and the US destroyed major infrastructure. Billions have been lost in oil revenue because of sanctions. Inflation has turned into like this, daily panic of where how much the rial is going to be worth from one day to another. Don't forget their ATMs don't work with foreign bank cards, so getting hold of foreign money is not as easy as it is perhaps in other countries, like in Argentina, where you can get US dollars fairly easily. Khomeini is elderly and politically isolated, essentially, and the state no longer provides security or prosperity. What's the point? And the thing is, up to a point, Iran is democratic. They have elections, fairly free and fair elections for the president. But the supreme leader that decides ultimately that the fate of the country, that's not elected at all. That is just, the guy who decided that the guy ruthless enough to take the job. But chance for bringing back, bringing back the monarchy, bringing back the Shah, it shows a rejection of the current situation, not nostalgia. As I said to Mike Dix the other day on the Friday Night Social when we were talking about this, people are shouting like anything but this, and they don't trust foreign backed figureheads. The left and the unions reject a return to a monarchy in that country, in Iran, and unfortunately, prison has removed a lot of alternative secular leaders, and it's essentially a protest against the system, but it's not a protest for another system. I know people are chanting to bring the Shah back, but the reality is the Shah's son hasn't lived in Iran since 1977. It doesn't know. I never held a political office before. I never managed something before. Just lived their life with the money that they had, and I don't think it would be a good idea. What the protesters actually want, they want to end the corruption, they want to end the inflation, they want to end the repression, they want an end to the clerical state. The democracy can remain. This is the thing. I think a lot of people are getting it mixed up, like, oh, we need to overhaul the entire system. If they can get rid of if you imagine it like it's a democracy up to this point, and then it's a theocracy on top, if you just get rid of that top layer, then we can and open it up so we can have free and fair elections. There's not that much that needs to change in the grand scheme of things. It's not like you need to reset, go into shock doctrine style year zero and go back to reinstate everyone who works for the government. Everyone who's a civil servant loses their job, and you need to find new people. I don't think that's necessary in this case, just because of the way that Iran is set up. They have elections. They have the machinery for elections. They have the infrastructure set up for elections. The one thing that I think people just don't want is this religious leader who represses the people and doesn't give the people a say in their own future in that respect. But at the moment, there's no unified ideology in Iran beyond survival. There's no agreed leader and there's no transition plan, right? Which I think is going to be difficult for the Iranians going forward to actually get any big changes. The big change that needs to happen is that Khomeini, the religious leader, needs to be yeeted into the sea. That is it. And that happens, I think, and just to get rid of the position, get rid of that position as supreme leader. It could still have an honorary supreme leader who, can give advice to the parliament, to the president over there. Okay, but has no real power, I don't necessarily have a big problem with that, although I do think it's a bit mad that the only two countries in the world that have lawmakers by right of their religiosity is Iran and Britain. Okay, cool. Yeah. Lord Spiritual. Enter the fray comes Trump. Donald Judas Trump, the fucking biggest idiot of the world, the idiot's idiot. And he's threatening airstrikes now. He's saying that he's going to start secret negotiations. He's going to talk about having strong options. He's talking about having very strong options when he's not standing up in the middle of a meeting to look out of a window at the remains of the east wing of the White House, which is now rubble. He frames the protests as US backed, and he just hands propaganda to the regime, and this is helping Khomeini crack down because the regime can just call the protesters foreign agents and just say they're working for Trump. The best thing that Trump could do right now is to die. I mean, shut up and die. Trump's threats validate the claim that all these people who are protesting, ordinary Iranians who were taken to the streets, are working for the CIA, working for Trump, working for the Americans, working for the great Satan. And the security forces then use that as justification for violence. People are dying because Trump is so fucking god-awful and thick as pig shit. He can't keep his gob shut. Protesters become the enemies of God, and repression becomes not like, keeping the peace, but national defense. They can say, look, foreign agents coming here, starting this. And Trump's looking at this because he's a fucking idiot, like Venezuela, okay? And Venezuela is the wrong lesson here. Iran is not a weak client state. It has a real military capacity. It's got regional allies. It's got a nuclear infrastructure. And foreign intervention would cause absolute fucking chaos in this situation, make a bad situation worse. What Trump wants is another foreign policy victory. He wants another spectacle, strongman spectacle. He wants a distraction from the Epstein files and the chaos going on in the US, where these masked Gestapo agents are going door to door, knocking on people's door, and if you don't have your right papers, they shoot you in the face. That's what's happening in America right now. You get dragged off to a concentration camp to die in alligator Alcatraz or in Seacot, which sounds like it should be, some nice part of a luxury resort, but it's not. It's actually a horrific high maximum security jail in El Salvador. This is Trump is seeking a deal, isn't he? That'll improve his image. He doesn't give a shit about Iranian democracy in the same way he didn't give a shit about Venezuelan democracy. He has allowed the deputy to Maduro to take over. Same people, same regime. It's just got a different figurehead now. And then we have why foreign intervention won't liberate Iran, because bombs do not create a civil society. Regime collapse doesn't guarantee freedom, and power would shift to the Revolutionary Guard. Civil war would be a real risk, and Iraq and Libya have already showed this. Since Gaddafi was beaten to death at the side of the road in 2011, we have had a almost constant, very grim situation in Libya, where you essentially have two Libyas now, one out of Tripoli and the other one out of Benghazi. It's never really settled down. And this moment here, it could be, the society in Iran is a breaking point, because don't forget as well, Iran has lost a lot of its regional partners. So if you think of Hezbollah, they were taken out by the Israeli Defense Force. Gaza, Hamas have been absolutely decimated by what the Israelis did in Gaza. The Houthis have been just taken out by the Saudi Arabians. Although the UAE are now going up against Saudi Arabia. Do you know this? Like, there's a whole beef between the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Normally they're in lockstep, but at the moment, especially over Sudan, where the UAE has been accused of funding the rebels over there, and in Yemen, where it's been accused of funding the Houthis, which the Saudi Arabians are not particularly happy about. The Houthis are a Shia segment of the Islamic religion, whereas the obviously the Saudi Arabian regime is hardline Sunni, and Wahhabist, in fact. Iran's lost a lot of its regional friends, and also, although they're still friends, but they've lost the power. And also, the oil sanctions coming in against Russia, Russia's not being able to prop up the regime there as much as it used to. We've seen this in Syria as well, where they also lost an ally, a key ally in al-Assad. Last year, the year before now, bloody hell. This is a state in Iran that is running out of friends, running out of legitimacy, running out of money, running out of oil, running out of food, running out of water. And because I try and be a realist, so you might call me a pessimist, but I don't think that this current uprising will achieve the aim of getting rid of the supreme spiritual leader. Although natural, nature might step in at some point, because he's a fucking old guy. He's really fucking old, and he might just die. And when he does, I think that might be the point where Iran can pull off these shackles. I don't know if it'll happen right now, because the state is still very strong. It's strong enough to shut down the internet. It's strong enough to be able to massacre protesters in the streets, bodies piling up in hospitals, and get away with it. I mean, this is the brutal repression that people in Iran have known for years, all their lives. But with the way the economy in Iran is at the moment, with no signs of getting better. What could happen is, rather than a storming of the presidential palace or something along those lines, we're more likely to see a fracture within the regime and a long and possibly messy transition. I don't think there's going to be a clean revolution in this. I might be wrong. But I would see that if the secular politicians go up against the clergy, there will be some beef there, and it will be. We'll see. We will see who the Revolutionary Guard are loyal to. Are they loyal to Khomeini, or are they going to be loyal to politicians? So yeah, but the big danger now is Trump and his big fucking gob. And what he does next this week, if he starts bombing targets in Tehran and around Iran, it's going to be a fucking nightmare. And also, it's going to delegitimize the protest. So everything that these people have done, it's just going to have to stop. But yeah, I'm going to have to just have to go for a moment. So if you give me 1 sec, I'm just going to give you the Morning Brew intro, and I'll be back in a moment. Just 1 sec, little commercial break for you. Hello, it's me again. And in conclusion, well, that's messed up the cut, hasn't it? Cup of tea time then. Sorry, just had to take a phone call. Some of the builders downstairs. Don't talk about G behind his back. I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere, Hannah, making YouTube. Quick, he's gone. Everyone turn your desk around and face the other way. Don't fall my fault. So there you go. Alistair, Plum says, Alistair, years ago I had to visit Holloway Prison and some of the lady prisoners actually shouted, "Come tickle my button. I'm glad to get out of there alive." Sorry, that was supposed to say Kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. What? Christy, dollar weakened after US prosecutors launched criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Yeah, they're going to launch criminal investigations into the head of the Fed because he won't do what Trump wants him to do. Wow. Anyway, just to go back to Iran for a moment. So look, this is the big danger now. It's Trump, his big mouth, and what the Americans do. They are very easily set up to cause trouble in Iran, to make things very difficult for the protesters. And Israel will be absolutely encouraging escalation here. Khomeini will double down on violence. I guarantee it. And it'll be the ordinary Iranians paying the price. But the choice facing Iran, which is very clear, and this may take a while. Like I say, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. But if you look at the timeline of revolts, of people standing up and protesting, it was like one, and then there wasn't one for years, or 10 years, and then there wasn't one for another 10 years. And then the last few years, there's been uprising after uprising after, protests on the streets after protest after protest. And this is clear that in Iran, they really do need to reconsider having clerical rule. Because if they want to keep this system that they have, which is tremendously unpopular with the vast majority of Iranians, and now even the merchant class is coming out against it, the authorities in Iran are going to face permanent revolt. And it's not just about people going out on the streets and protesting. It's about people not working. It's people not contributing to the economy. It's about people, the rule of law breaking down. And this is the big issue at the moment. So hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, and the clerical class will go, okay, we've had a good innings, 46 years, 47 years this year. and we're gonna leave it at that. Is that gonna happen? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I hope so. I hope they realise that at some point that it's just not worth every few months people being back on the streets to complain and blame the Ayatollah Khomeini for everything. But we will see. We will see. Plum says, I feel really sorry for the working people of Iran. So do I. Iran, like I've said before, it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. The people are absolutely incredible. The kindest, sweetest, most caring people that you could ever hope to meet. And they've just been handed a fucking shit sandwich in life because just born in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess. David Faulkner, thank you very much for the 38 Hong Kong dollars. Ironically, the Israeli assault hasn't helped and has only rallied ordinary Iranians to the regime, even if the intellectual class would like to change. Yeah. I mean, it's not even ironic. It's not even ironic. It's if you are not happy with your government, and then some other fuckers from some other country come and go, oh, we'll help you. Do you know what I mean? It's like bombing stuff, and you're like, well, fuck off. This is our deal. It's like someone coming from across the street to settle an argument, and over a family dinner, and you're like, who are you? What's this got to do with you? Do you know what I mean? This is my family. This is our thing. You don't know the history of this place. You don't know the stories. You don't know why it is the way it is. David Faulkner, thank you very much for that super chat, mate. That is very kind of you. I'm going to set a goal. For the next couple of hours, I think. Let's see if we can get some confetti. I'm glad that the scraping has ended, which is good. Confetti. But yeah, so what the Iranian authorities need to do right now is they need to restore legitimacy to the government, or they can try and rule by terror. And I'll tell them now, ruling by terror never works. Never fucking works. Iran is a population of 90 million people. It's a fucking huge country. And if they think that they can bring everyone to heel, when you've got an entire generation of younger Iranians who have had access to the internet, that they've seen what life is like in other countries in a way that people living in the 80s didn't. You had state radio, you had state TV. It was very difficult to see what was outside Iran. It's very difficult to get a visa for some other country to go to get out. And so, yeah, nowadays, unless you go full North Korea and don't allow anyone access to the internet at all, which I just don't think you can do. I don't think you can. I always go to North Korea as my example of somewhere where you can make this shit happen in a country like North Korea, where no one's tasted freedom, when no one's known what it's like to be able to travel the world and be free in those ways that we are here in the UK and other countries across what we call the West, even though not all of it's in the West, but whatever. Once you've seen that, it's very, very hard to go back to a brutal, repressive regime when you see that other countries don't live like this. Well, good morning, you sexy bastards. Much love to all in Graham Politics. Oh, thank you very much. You're being fact enough. That's very kind of you. I'm just waiting for Graham's Build to trump out and start drill, baby, drill. No, they shouldn't. I thought we got all that done before we started. I was a bit late getting started this morning because I was like trying to sort everything out. It's one of them where you wake up in the morning and I'm sitting there like on my laptop doing my notes, and Kat says to me, "Yeah, got the builders coming in 8, haven't we?" And I went, "Oh shit!" Quickly jump in the shower. So yeah, Nanny YouTube did like that. Oh well, moment is gone. Sorry, L. Yep, Pagan. Although you're rateable as a human, everyone's rateable as a human. Except for Trump, he's rateable as a big pile of toxic sludge. I hate orange. I don't think I'll ever like it again, says L. Yeah, fair enough. Let's leave orange and brown in the 70s and in Trump's nappy. Okay, so we're going to head over to the papers now for what is going on in the papers. We will find out. Here we go. Mandelson's sorry excuse is the headline there in the Mirror. Anger after peer refuses to apologise to Monster's victims for his friendship. This is to do with... don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. and hit the bell notification icon. Yeah, Mandelson's sorry excuse, anger after peer refuses to apologise for monsters to monsters victims for his friendships. This is about his relationship with the monster that is the absolute gobshite that is Jeffrey Epstein, and refused to apologise on the Laura Kunzberg show yesterday because I don't know, he's a fucking dickhead. But yeah, just really, really cringe. I mean, saying, "Oh, I didn't say any of that sort of things because I'm gay." How could he, what did you not see? He went to jail. Did you not see that he got convicted of in the 2000s because you visited him after that? Oh, I didn't see that because I'm gay. All right, mate. Mandelson was as sincere as Andy the Nonce Windsor. Yeah. And when he was asked to apologise, it was just this like shit apology. He said he refused to apologise to victims for the friendship, saying, I was not culpable. Just why is it so difficult for these dickhead politicians, these scumbag politicians? Why is sorry the hardest word? Why is that? Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be that way. But it is. It is, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll go back to the papers in a moment. Hang on. I'm just doing something. Give me a moment. There we go. Head back to the papers now. We've got the Met boss hitting out over false claims as capital homicides rates fall. Britain's most senior police officer has denounced critics who promote narratives that suit them in the number of homicides, as the number of homicides in London fell to the lowest in more than a decade. Yeah, it's less than 100 people in this massive fucking city. Like, what, 11 million people live in fucking London? 100 murders. They're pretty good odds. Pretty good odds to not get murdered. And again, most people who get murdered by someone that they know. Most women who get murdered by a partner or an ex-partner. It's not some random person on the street who's come from another country and thinks, oh, because I've come from another country, I think I'll go out killing everyone. That doesn't actually happen in real life. Next up, we're going to the Times here. We've got, I said that already, the MPs to urge sacking of police chief in fans ban. Parliament misled over Israeli supporters. Senior MPs are preparing to tell the Home Secretary to sack the chief constable of West Midlands Police after concluding that he misled Parliament over the decision to ban Israeli football fans from a match in Birmingham. This is a mad. This is what? I can completely understand why this ban was put in. Like the Tel Aviv, the Maccabees Tel Aviv fans are thugs, and they have been banned from matches in Israel. What were the Israeli authorities being anti-Semitic? I mean, come on. And then the job of the police is to keep the peace. That's their job, isn't it? And then my girl was shot. I saw hundreds more bodies. A fashion student was shot in the back of the head by Iranian riot police while she protested against the regime in Tehran. Her mother said yesterday. That is really, really grim. That's a picture of her there. Killed by the police, shot by the police. A woman shot by the authorities, just like in America. Because America's got the moral superiority in this case, haven't they? Because they don't go around just shooting innocent civilians for, I don't know, protesting. Could Meghan visit Britain? Here's what to expect. Oh, I hope she wears that dress. I mean, come on, move on. Okay, so next up, we got a massive super chat that's just come in from Plumduff. Thank you so much, Plumduff. £50. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you to drop that in there. We've got a mega chat. Thank you so much, Plum. The world may be in flux, but we have one another on this channel. So love to you all. Chin up and keep going. Trump won't ever win with people like us around. Thank you so much, Plum Duff. That is so kind of you. That is so amazingly kind of you. Thank you. And and thanks for the message of support and the message of solidarity. And yeah, I believe that. There's good people everywhere. Most people are good. They really are. Or at least they want to be good. Unfortunately, people get tied up in cults, and they decide that the thing that they've been told to be concerned about is the most important fucking thing in the fucking world. Remember when it was what was the big concern in 2010? Because it wasn't Europe, it wasn't trans people, it wasn't migrants. Who was it? I can't remember who the wheel of misfortune landed on. Who were people complaining about in 2010? What was the big bad? When people go, oh, it was probably Obama over in America, wasn't it? "You bloody Obama doing these things." And in the UK, I'm just trying to think back. You know, I suppose it was the Tony Blair and the Iraq War. I mean, obviously that was over. Well, the war was still going, but yeah, Tony Blair wasn't the prime minister anymore. But yeah, we were being told to hate. But now it's like people are told to hate Europe, and suddenly the number of people who hate Europe goes through the roof because they're told to by the billionaires. And you're like, are you going to stop doing what you're told to by the billionaires at some point? That's great. Love being told what to do. I love not thinking for myself. Why would I want to think to myself? That would suck. Anyway, so back over to the papers. We've got lifestyle tweaks that have taken 28 years off my biological age, so now she's only -2. Shot dead, Rabina, 23, a victim of the Mullah's death squads. 500 protesters reported killed, while Kemi backs military action, while hand-wringing Labour calls for calm. Hand-wringing Labour. Military action in Iran will not help. I will tell you that now. I know you won't take me seriously because I got a bit of a regional accent. But I'm going to tell you now that if Britain or if America or if anyone else interferes in, or Israel interferes in what is happening in Iran, you will make a bad situation worse. I guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee it. Iran warns US not to attack as protester death toll soars. And TV review, the ice hockey romance that is all sex. It's a big gay romp. This ice hockey thing, what's it called? Blades of Glory or something. Iran warns US not to attack as protester death toll soars. I've read that already. Mandelson declined to say sorry for Epstein friendship, which is disgusting. Slashing jury trials could clear backlog in a decade, says David Lammy. What's the name of the show? The ice hockey show that's getting all the plaudits at the moment, and it's got lots of gay sex in it. What's it called? The Flashing Blade or something. I don't know. If anyone watches The Night Manager, there was a bit of a scene in it last night. I could smell the gammon sizzling all over the country at one particular scene in Night Manager last night. Also, if you are watching it, I know that I can't confirm this because spoilers and all, but I said exactly that to Kat. I said exactly that at the beginning of the series. I said exactly that. And I just want to say, I'm not bragging or nothing, but I was right. I was right. Everything I say is right. Not everything. I get some things wrong. What I don't get wrong is having such a great group of people watching the show, including Urbane Legends, who dropped £5 in the super chat. Fun. A blade of grass understands cause equal effect, which is more than the electorate suffrage for plants. Consider the lilies. They can photosynthesize. Plum says, other than hating Trump, I hate clothes that don't dry properly and develop a weird pong afterwards. Oh God, Plum. Oh, I hate that so much. Maybe I'll add that to my list of clothes pong. When you wash stuff in like cold water and then it doesn't get hung out quick enough, and it just, that smell, oh God, it's like a sickly sweet smell. And you're like this, oh Jesus. Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, not very nice when clothes can't dry properly. The Flashing Blade, Yuri on Ice. Can you tell me what it's called? Someone tell me what it is in the chat, because I don't have to, don't make me Google this. Blades of Legends. What's it called? The show about the ice hockey. What was it? I remember that, wasn't it? Humorously dubbed. Dubbed. Oh, The Flashing Blade. Yes, dubbed France TV show, if I remember it rightly. Without evidence, I was right, cannot be endorsed. Yes, it can, because Kat can endorse it. She can say, yes, you said that at the beginning of the film. The TV show, sorry. It's mold, says George only. Although I will say that Kat was right about who the secret traitor was, and I wasn't. But there you go. So there's a really important thing that I just overlooked in The Guardian here as well, which is really true. The secret to good health, friends. There you go. That's it. Friends. Having friends is really, really important. And while I was sort of railing against Weatherspoon's pubs, getting money off the electorate, getting money off the taxpayer, which isn't great. But I was having a discussion about this, and I've come to I've changed my mind on it a little bit, because I understand how a pub can be a social good and a unique social good as well in villages, in suburbs, in city centres, and yeah, it's good for our mental health, but not necessarily that they have to be pubs, but they can just be somewhere where the community comes together and eats and drinks and has games to play and does pub quizzes and does shit karaoke or whatever you want to do. Yeah, maybe we should look into. I said last week about turning them into community hubs, but not even like turning them into anything, just as they are, but allowing for allocation of funds to these places so long as they meet a certain criteria about being open and welcoming and not full of fucking bother boys. No, I wouldn't give anything to Tim Weatherspoon. I no interest in giving him any money whatsoever. Heated rivalry. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you. I knew you'd be there for me. Heated rivalry. That's the hockey show that I was trying to remember. Closed pong needs laundry sanitizer and cold water enzymes. Yeah, and no fabric conditioner. Because as we know, that makes jeans fall apart. Like old taverns, Graham. Yeah. But not like old taverns, because old taverns, a lot of them were quite exclusive. If you weren't from that town, you weren't from that village, you weren't welcome. And if you were a woman, you weren't welcome. And kids weren't welcome and stuff like that. Dogs weren't welcome. Mike says, I'd like an alternative to churches without religion and pubs without alcohol, says Mike Dix. Yeah, I guess so. But churches without religion and pubs without alcohol. We should turn all the churches into pubs. I mean, what I quite like at the moment is that I feel more prepared to go out to town and drive into town than I used to. I never used to do that because I thought, well, I want to drink and I don't want to sit there drinking Coca-Cola all night because it's fucking horrible. You drink and it costs a fucking fortune. It pisses me off. You pay like £3 for like half a pint of Coca-Cola, and that's cost the pub like 3p. It's just the post-mix syrup that they use. But yeah, at the same time, like nowadays, you've got some really good options when it comes to zero alcohol lager, and also there's like zero alcohol Guinness. You can get zero alcohol gin, zero alcohol ciders now. It tastes exactly the same, and it means you can drive home. So yeah, if you're not drinking, you can still drink with people, but you're just not getting any alcohol. There's some spiritual churches that are a-religious. Yeah, but I don't want to go and stand in a pew and listen to someone talk and then sing some songs. Doesn't sound like much fun. I go to science lectures in one of my local pubs. They are good community buildings in Brighton. Yeah, Mike, that's the kind of thing. So it's not just a place where you go and drown your sorrows. It's not just a place where you go and complain about the government or whatever. It's a place where the community can come together. There's one in Swindon. But that's not a help because you'd want a religious experience to visit Swindon for any reason. Very good. So yeah, back to the newspapers. We've got so both covers of the Mail and the Guardian are both talking about what's happening in Iran. Moving on, same picture there of the woman who's shot dead in Iran. Making the cut, the best of new hairstyles, and we've got Zendaya there. We've got Galadriel, and we've got Taylor Swift. And we've got ban the IRGC. Starmer is urged cause for Iran's security force to be prescribed after hundreds of protesters are killed. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Grand Council, the IRGC, must be prescribed as a terrorist organisation, Sir Keir Starmer has been told. The issue here, and this is going to, might ruffle a few feathers saying this, but if you do that, won't you have to say the Trump administration is a terrorist regime? I mean, for fuck's sake, they kill their own people. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, pretty grim. It's pretty grim. When my kids were young, We had a favourite white shirt. Then my daughter put her red ballet shoes in the machine at the same time, and that was the end of that. Sorry, Plum. Sorry to hear that. Now you got a nice pink shirt. Greener King shut it down to build flats. The council rejected the planning permission, and now they're talking about reopening it again. Oh, that's good. Dinger is my favourite zero alcohol beer. Yeah, I don't like the Heineken one. The Heineken one's a bit shit. Although I think did I have Corona Zero? That was pretty good. Or Thero. So yeah, back to the papers. Mandelson, I did not know about Epstein abuses because I am gay. No, he literally had gone to court. He'd gone to jail for the offences. So yeah, there's no way you could not have known that because you were gay. What are you even talking about? Toddlers' ability to speak language is damaged by screen time. Okay. Islamophobia label risks breaking law. Sir Keir Starmer's plans for a new definition of Islamophobia risks breaking the law by illegally discriminating against other faith groups. All right, mate. Pubs under threat from recycling tax. Another thing that pubs, the Daily Telegraph's like obsessed, going, oh my god, the pubs. And Tim Stanley, privately educated, of course, says Donald Trump controls the world and Britain ought to let him have it. Fucking coward. It's a great patriot there, Great patriot. And J.K. Rowling is saying puberty blockers trial must end. Go fuck yourself forever. Go fuck yourself to the end of the universe and then fuck yourself some more, J.K. Rowling. It's nothing to do with you. You are not a doctor. You are not a medic. You are not a medical researcher. You're just a gobshite with too much money. Job seekers flood market as staff is laid off. And then we've got on the other side of the page here, we've got the Express. Pharmacies in crisis after Labour's tax raise. Labour's high street tax grab will hurt patients as more pharmacies are driven out of business because of the cash. Hikes in business rates. It's not a hike in business rates. The business rates are the same. It's the end of the subsidies that were being paid to these, what's it called? Tax write-offs or whatever. The rates that were given to these different high street stores and companies and pubs and restaurants and things as a result of COVID. But yeah, Labour are totally getting in the neck about this. I bet the Tories were doing it. They wouldn't be saying anything about it at all. They'd be like, yeah, well, it's just what's got to be done, like Brexit, which is really why the high street is dying. And also allowing Amazon to run riot and set up a warehouse on the edge of town, and they can just get everything that everyone needs delivered the next day. And so why would you go to the city centre, especially when you've got to pay for parking? And every single parking space in town has a different rule and a different setup and a different way of paying and a different way of displaying the ticket, or you don't display the ticket, or it records your number plate going in, or it doesn't record your number plate going in. And every time you make a mistake on that, one of those things, it's £50 fine, or maybe £100 fine. You don't pay it in time. West End girl, Kat and pals have a new ITV home. Oh, that's glorious to find. I love it when a cat gets a new home. And then we'll scroll down to the iPaper here. We're not ready to bomb Iran yet, warns US generals. Trump considers airstrikes against regime as Iranian protesters defy deadly crackdown. Despite internet blackouts, evidence grows that demonstrators are being slaughtered. Cost of living protests are morphing into wider anger at the Ayatollah and his 36-year rule. US commanders say they need time to prepare military strikes given that retaliation is likely, and Tehran vows revenge attacks against American bases, ships, and allies in the Middle East. Yeah, whole fucking can of worms, and it will. Trump doing this, and I've said this, the main thing I'm talking about today, it will delegitimize the protests, will delegitimize the people rising up against the oppressors. Why the hell is J.K. Rowling talking? Because she's got loads of money, Andy. And we live in a plurocracy, is it? Is that ruled by the wealthy? Have you got any money? No? Well, you must be a pleb. I miss my kind Polish neighbours who left after Brexit. Was very sad. They were lovely people, says Plum. Yeah. Who cares what JK is saying? No one, except the TERFs. Except the goddamn ugly, fucking grotesque TERFs out there. They're always the lookers, aren't they, the TERFs? Okay, so over to the Financial Times, the sensible paper. What's next for America's once vibrant malls? I don't know, you could film fucking endless remakes of Dawn of the Dead in them, I guess. India needs to stem its exodus of workers. EU demands Farage clause in talks over Brexit reset. This is an interesting story that came out yesterday. Financial penalty if reform pulls out. Brussels seeks long-term agreement. The EU is demanding that any future British government pays significant financial compensation if a post-Brexit reset deal, if it quits a post-Brexit reset deal as part of negotiations with Sir Keir Starmer. So this isn't exactly tying the hands of a future government, but it will cost so much to get out of this deal that it just will really not be worth it, which is cool. Plutocracy. So that's it. That's the word. Plutocracy. Challenge to Tehran. Regime warns Trump against interfering as protests mount in Iran. And there's a car upside down and on fire there outside a mosque. We've got the briefing here. Watchdog cleared all deals in wake of shake-up. This is the Competition and Markets Authority did not block any of the 36 deals it reviewed last year. Great. Wall Street bank boom. JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, and Citigroup are set to report a bumper year because of Trump basically gambling on the stock market and telling all his friends when to buy and when to sell. Wall Street bank boom. I just read that one. Trump issues Cuba threat. The US president has warned Cuba will no longer get oil from Venezuela, urging Havana to make a deal. Whatever. Burnham backs Badenoch. Potential Labour contender Andy Burnham has joined Kemi Badenoch, the Tory leader, in urging much bolder action to control children's access to social media. Isn't this interesting? So the same right-wingers who are saying that we shouldn't be banning Twitter, which we should totally be banning Twitter, did a whole episode on that last week, are saying that we should ban children from going on social media. And you're like, okay, keep it consistent. Why not? Keep it consistent. But yeah, Twitter has pornography on it. And now it has effectively child pornography on it. No, it should be banned. It should be absolutely banned. It should be fined. It should be fined into next year, and it should be banned in this country. Again, we've talked about curtailing social media use for minors before on this channel. I'm sure I will talk about it again. I have 2 stepdaughters, and there's content on Instagram I don't want them seeing. There's content on Snapchat I do not want them seeing. Anyone can contact them on WhatsApp. Anyone can. You just dials in a random number and it's their number. Can start having a conversation with them on WhatsApp. It's so insecure. The Roblox. Roblox is awful for people. Anyone. You got to go in and make sure that you turn off the messaging system in Roblox, because otherwise you get people, pedophiles, messaging kids. Like, it's like sending your kid into an activity group in a building with 1,000 pedophiles in it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But again, my solution to this, and I know that, your mileage may vary, but I would prefer to see a system in which we have kids' phones separate. Because I don't know why the phone companies don't do this. The first phone company to do this will absolutely clean up. Because everyone will buy a new phone for their kids. Every kid who's got a phone will get a new phone, and it will have these applications blocked by default, and unless you've got a whole fucking setup so you can actually, I don't know, resolder the inside of your phone, which I don't think is very possible. You're not going to be able to get to just go online and see whatever you want, which is the situation at the moment. Greenland claims rejected. Nordic diplomats have rebuffed Donald Trump's claims that Russian and Chinese vessels are operating near Greenland and not. Digital euro essential. 60 economists have implored the EU to back a digital euro, saying the Eurozone would lose control of its money and become dependent on US companies if the project failed. Google Ads Get Personal. The Internet Group is introducing personalized ads into its AI shopping tools as it seeks to gain ground on rival AI, OpenAI. Stars lobby EU over touts, and the managers of acts, including Ed Sheeran and Nick Cave, have backed a campaign for the EU to clamp down on unauthorized ticket reselling after the UK move to cut out tout, which I'm quite excited about. Going back to that story about Google, if you go onto your Gmail, and this is really annoying. So Gmail used to set up your messages when they came through. It used to put them in different boxes to say whether they were promotions, whether they were, I don't know, updates, whether they were new messages, which was handy, right? Now they have said that they're going to be using your messages to feed their AI algorithm and feed their advertising algorithm, not just to put it into separate categories, but to fuck things up for you. if you turn off this feature, which you can do by going into settings and then turning off smart features, it also takes away the fact that it used to put things into different folders depending on what the content was. So they have enshittified Gmail, because you can either have them read all of your private messages, which could include private financial dealings, it could include erotic messages to your better half or worse half or whatever, and giving them you can either give them permission to read all that, or you can have to deal with all your messages coming into one inbox and it just being an absolute mess. And you having to manually go through it all and say, if it comes from this company, put it in the promotions. If it comes from this company, put it in. It's really, really shit. So Gmail has become enshittified, as pretty much everything has become enshittified over the last few years. They've taken something that worked fine and then they made it shit for no good reason. Private equities dash offshore triggers concerns over transparency of funds, and we've got UK private equity firms have sharply increased their use of offshore jurisdictions since Brexit, raising concerns about transparency, just as the industry is pulling more money from individual investors. That's a bit of a worry. Can we stop them doing that? Can we stop them stealing money from our country and put it into? Can we do that? And then sadness, fear, and outrage grip Minnesota's residents. Protests have escalated in Minneapolis following the death of Renee Nicole Good, who was shot by an immigration and customs enforcement officer last week. Amid US-wide anger, locals say they are being targeted by a president with a grudge dating back to the Black Lives Matter protest sparked by George Floyd's killing in the city in 2020. It's terrifying, one resident said, fearful of ICE. You take your life into your own hands when you interact with them. Yeah, it is absolutely terrifying. They are terrorists. That's what they do. Now, let's not forget, a few years ago, there was a Nazi war criminal who worked in a concentration camp, murdered Jewish people, murdered Romani people, murdered homosexuals, murdered socialists. 11 million people killed in the Holocaust. 6 million of them Jews. There's a guy, he was 101 years old, and they caught him, and they put him on trial, and they put him in jail, and he died in jail. Motherfucker. 101 years old. That was just a couple of years ago. Right? These dickheads in ICE think that Trump is going to live forever. Oh, have I got news for you? He's not going to live forever. And when he dies, you masked vigilante pieces of shit who are running around, these fucking terrorists, terrorizing civilians, dragging people out of their homes, putting them in camps to die, all of you are going on trial. There will be laws in the future that will make sure that you pay for your crimes and the crimes of your colleagues. Don't forget that. Do not forget that. Because they think Trump is going to live forever. He's not. They think that the Trump regime, that MAGA, is going to be eternal. It's going to be the 1,000-year Reich. It's not. It never is. At some point, maybe in a few years, maybe in a few decades, doesn't matter. At some point, the pendulum will swing back, and these motherfuckers who have committed all these crimes, and it's been recorded that they committed these crimes, will face justice. That's the way it works. You can't get away with it. You can't, unless you are incredibly rich and powerful, like Trump, with the backing of all these Saudi Arabians and UAE, Qataris, tech bros, crypto twats. Unless you've got all the backing of those motherfuckers, you're fucked. They will find you, and they will put you on trial, and they will put you away for the rest of your life. So there you go. Hotmail is bad at blocking spam too. And in my letter, I highlighted the two laws that X and Musk are breaking by allowing CSAM to be created and shared on the platform. You're absolutely right, Chris C there. And Andy said, I saw a thing about internet spying, told the missus about it. I laughed. She launched Amazon Echo, laughed. Yeah. There is no statute of limitations when it comes to murder, says Chris C. Yeah. I mean, this is it, isn't it? This is the issue that we're facing right now. Is that I just can't see how they think they're going to get away with it. But like I say, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Especially not these what these knobheads are doing. That they're digging their own graves. They're literally digging their own fucking graves, and they're too stupid to see that. You know, they're too stupid to understand the implications of what they're doing down the line, because they're stupid enough to believe that Trump is forever, and he's absolutely 100% completely and utterly not that. Okay, so we talked about the Golden Globes. We talked about Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, which is like a deck chair but a bit different. We've got Trump saying that he's going to intervene in Iran, which would be absolutely terrible. We've seen him not dial back his rhetoric on Greenland, although there are stories that his generals are just like, we're not doing that. We're just not doing that. Urbane Legends, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Ice don't know equals consequence votes for plant. Yeah. My daughter has given me a hamster to look after. What is it with the love of its wheel? It never stops running. It's got all the energy. You know, its little heart's beating at 1,000 times a second. It needs to get its energy out. Graham, do you really think they'll come up and get their comeuppance? I'm not so sure. Yeah, they will. Absolutely, they will. Because here's the thing: in under the law in America as it is now, like they have no recourse to say what they're doing is right or what they think they're doing is right. It's absolutely wrong, and they can't claim after the event to say, "Oh, we were just following orders." It didn't work for the commandants of the concentration camps. It's not going to work for these motherfuckers. It's not going to work for the members of the Gestapo that they got hold of. And the thing is, back in the 1940s, yeah, these high-ranking SS officers, they could escape with the help of Vatican City to go and live in Argentina or Brazil. They could totally do that. You could totally fake, who they were and identity and stuff like that. It's so much difficult. It's so much more difficult now. Unless you have extensive plastic surgery and you change your irises somehow and you change your fingerprints. I mean, everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. It's one of the reasons why the murder rate's coming down all over the world, because it's just hard to get away with it. People know it's very, very unlikely that you'll get away with murder these days because of DNA. And it's very, very unlikely that these ICE motherfuckers are going to get away with this. They will bring in new laws in the future that say if you're involved in this in the terror, and they will call it the terror, then you have to be take responsibility for what you did. Iceman, baby, dum dum dum, dada dum dum. Well, this is the thing, Elle, as well. Don't forget, US soldiers, when they're out in the field, that they're under the law. They can't just go around shooting civilians, right? If they do, they can be put on trial for that, right? So why is it any different in your own country? In fact, it's even worse, arguably, in your own country to go around shooting civilians, unarmed civilians who aren't doing anything wrong. An unarmed mother of three in a car, in like a station wagon, a mom vehicle, a soccer mom. Chris is going to pop off. Oh, Chris. Ooh, didn't know you were that excited, but thank you. Catch you later, lovely people. Take care, my friend. And Andy said, Martin, they seem to forget that everyone has a camera now. They'll be identified. They will be identified. Because, look, fascism cannot reign forever. It always crumbles because it's unnatural. Because people just don't like being told what to do every day of their lives. There are some people who want it. There's some people who live for the discipline. But most of us, it's not great. It is not great at all. But yeah, we've got, what else have we got? Norwich City fan dies. Oh my God, that's sad. We've got huge Roman villa found under popular park, dubbed town's Pompeii. That's cool. Is it a series of small walls? And we've got some domestic robots. I'm looking at the BBC website at the moment. And why luxury car makers are now building glitzy skyscrapers. I wish they wouldn't. Himalayas bare and rocky after reduced winter snowfall, scientists warn, which is a bit of a worry for anyone who lives along the Ganges rivers. Legal UK can legally stop Shadow Fleet tankers. Ministers believe, talking about the Russian Shadow Fleet. We've also got India and UK actively engaged in trade negotiations, says a new ambassador. I thought we were already doing. Malaysia and Indonesia block Musk's grok over explicit deepfake. So I'm glad someone's already moved on this. Malaysia and Indonesia have blocked access to Elon Musk's artificial chatbot grok over its ability to produce sexually explicit deepfakes. Brilliant. Okay. And also, we know that the British government is talking to the French government, the Canadian government, possibly the Australian government as well, about doing a group thing where we all ban it together, so they can't target Britain and say it's all Britain's fault for not letting us do our thing. Britain is curtailing internet freedom, and the thing is, like, this is in a horrible, disgusting. I don't want anything to do with this kind of way. This might be good for us, because who is defending this? Who is defending the paedophilia online? Who is defending the online paedophiles who are making sexually explicit pictures of children and sharing those images? Who is it? Refuck are defending them, but to the hilt, because they want the money off Musk, don't they? But yeah. But there you go. Just let me send an eggplant emoji to Aid. There we go. Good, thank you. We call it an aubergine, mate. Oh, Jesus. Stupid bloody emojis. In the US, military hardware from the Iraq War persists. Some police forces have more firepower than some armies. Yeah, Captain Coconut. The militarization of the American police forces has been going on for years. Been going on for absolute fucking years. But the weird thing is, in Minnesota right now, the cops seem like the good guys compared with fucking ICE. It's remarkable, because don't forget, it was a Minneapolis police officer who killed George Floyd. I tried getting Grok to do silly things, and it tells me video moderated, so they must have done something. I just make silly things with my friends. See, Dizzy Dizzle, don't use it. Just don't use it. You're feathering Elon Musk's nest, and he's a scumbag. Just other AI things are available for doing daft shit, but also, I'm trying to make my use of AI as minimal as possible. I use it for text. I use it to give it a bit of text and say, rewrite this in bullet points. That's about my extent of using AI now. And the other thing is, in Photoshop, if I've got a picture and it's like this, and I've got a little bit of a gap at the top and a little bit of a gap at the bottom, and it doesn't quite fit in the thumbnail, I'll auto-generate a new top and bottom to just widen out the picture a little bit. That's about it. The video side of it, the uncanny valley of it, it just freaks me out. It's like the opening sequence to Severance. It's like, it's ick. It's ick. So yeah, going to have fun arguing with Phil in his Twitch stream later. He really should not have said we evolved from chimpanzees, lol. Yeah, one angry pagan. I was onto that. I was like, no, we had a common ancestor. He's like, no, we evolved from chimpanzees. I'm like, we don't know, because we've hardly found any connections from our common ancestor with chimpanzees to chimpanzees. Like, if anything was like made by a supernatural being, it was probably chimps, because unlike chimps, we have a quite consistent fossil record for humans from where they went from their common ancestor with chimpanzees to modern man, modern human. But yeah, they don't have that for chimps. Possibly because they lived in the forests, and forest things just fucking, you need quite a dry place for fossils to really set in. Fossils are quite rare. Only like 1 of a billion living things ever becomes a fossil. You're gonna have some particular circumstances, and if you live your whole life swinging around forests, then it's not conducive, because the constant churn, the turnover of the land, the leaves, the animals, the insects, the fungus in forests. It's not conducive to creating fossils. Whereas humans, they went off to the, I don't know, fucking Afar Depression and hung about there for a little bit. Our old friend Australopithecus afarensis. Yeah, you like that, don't you? Lucy in Addis Ababa. You go to the museum in Addis Ababa and you can see Lucy for yourself. Something that I did, because, kind of interesting stuff. But no, we did not evolve from chimpanzees. We evolved from a common ancestor with a chimpanzee. Common ancestor, we are genetically related to chimps, bonobos, gorillas closest with orangutans further up. I know we're genetically related to chimps more than anything else. 99.4% of our DNA is the same as chimps. But yeah, and then it's bonobos are an offshoot of chimps, so they evolved at some point an offshoot from chimps, and then gorillas, and it's going back a bit further than that, and orangutans back. Yeah, we're closer to gorillas than we are to orangutans. But back in the day, there was loads of different types of human, wasn't there? There's loads of different types of ape as well. Back in the day, lots of them died out. But yeah, there was a time when the whole world was a forest, and apes were fantastic, and monkeys were fantastic for being able to jump around these forests. And then, things changed. Things changed. Graham, who are you calling a monkey? I'm an ape, thank you very much. This monkey's gone to heaven. I'm not calling you a monkey. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. 2 monkeys in the bath. Ooh, I'll put more cold in then. And closely related to rodents. What? I'm not closely related to rodents. Well, isn't that mad? You are more closely related to a mammal mole than you are to a marsupial mole. So a mole is closer in its genetic lineage, its ancestral lineage, its evolutionary lineage, to humans, a mammal mole like we have here in the UK. You are closer to that than that mole is to a marsupial mole. How crazy is that? Convergent evolution. I remember closer to chimps, bonobos, and gorillas, and we have orangutans further back. Poorly worded, shame on me, lol. No, don't worry about it, Yuri. And 98% shared DNA has been superseded. It's more like 85% active DNA match. Yeah, I know. And that's because we've got loads of junk DNA. So you're talking about the DNA that we actually use. Yeah, it's not as high a percentage. But when it comes to the junk DNA, stuff from our evolutionary past that we don't use anymore, all those genes that have been turned off, they're very, very similar. When you were in Ethiopia, did you go to Ascom to see the monastery of the Ark of the Covenant? No, I didn't, Simon. I went to, where did I go? I went to Addis Ababa. I went to Tomoko. Is it Tomoko? The famous coffee house there. It's fucking amazing. I went up to Gondor, as in Gondor, as in the northern city that has a medieval castle in it. There's a medieval castle there in Gondor, which is called. I went to Dire Dawa, over in the east of the country. Yeah, that was great. I've been to Ethiopia twice. It's a fucking great place. Really great place. I was there on Christmas Day. I told you this, didn't I? I was there on Christmas Day. And did they know it's Christmas? No, they didn't. Because they celebrate Christmas on January the 7th. What are you talking about? They don't know it's Christmas. Because it's not their Christmas. They know when their Christmas is, though. The only reason we so closely match DNA-wise is because of one instance around 450,000 years ago. The Kobo supervolcano eruption almost destroyed humanity. 1 million plus down to 100 families. Is that the one that was out of Sumatra? Wasn't that Lake Toba? Was that the one that was in Lake Toba? Am I thinking of the right thing here? Or am I getting this completely mixed up? There was a supervolcano that went off and it just wiped out because the sun didn't shine for years. If related to monkeys and apes, how do you explain they were on the ark with us? Says Mike Dix. How can you explain the ark? We're more closely related to chimps than orangutans, unless you're a librarian. What? But yeah, I mean, looking at a chimp or looking at a gorilla or looking at an orangutan, I've had a close encounter with an orangutan. And these people who hunt them and kill them, it's like killing a human. I mean, it's killing a cat or a dog is bad enough, but they are like there is something going on behind their eyes when they look at you. Do you know what I mean? And like, yeah, you always see that people who are cruel to animals will be cruel to humans as well. But in particular, the great apes are so human in so much that they do that I think they should have fucking rights. I think they should have more rights than other animals. I know people are going to come in the chat, but why does one group of animals get more rights than others? Well, I don't think the habitat of cats and dogs isn't necessarily being destroyed on the daily, whereas the habitat of chimpanzees and the gorillas in Central Africa, and orangutans in Sumatra and Borneo, the habitat is being destroyed on a daily basis. Maybe if they had more rights, that wouldn't happen. Ernie Burns. Okay, I'm singing Monkey. I'm singing Monkey Magic all day long now. Oh, what a great show. And I can cloud fly. Blazes, hello. I the moon landing denier changing my electrical meter. I'm sorry. We need to control apes before they revolt under Caesar and take over. This is true. What do you do? What do you do if people say, oh, we didn't land on the moon? Yes, we did. With it taking 1 million people to lie. The big one that I was bring out when people say we didn't land on the moon is, why didn't the Russians say something? It was the height of the Cold War. The Russians were the first people in space. First living thing in space. The first launch satellite. First for all this stuff. And then the Americans managed to get the big one. They managed to land on the moon and do the other thing. Why didn't the Russians say, no, you didn't? Jonathan Gullis, plank of wood, Jonathan Gullis. Would you rather share your DNA lineage with? Well, he's a monkey. He's a howler monkey, so he's further away in our ancestry. When he started grumbling about Rach and her taxes, I gave up. If he was a refucker, he was at least pleasant. Did you hear that if you're in Africa, if a chimp comes out of the bush and sees a human, they back off slowly. They know what we are. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. Exactly what I said. The Russians would have mentioned it. He said they were working together to get money out of the masses. I pointed out they could have instigated us. They could have just instigated austerity. Yeah. How are they getting money out of the masses by spending $1 trillion on a fucking moonshot? And we're going back as well. And then also there's pictures that have been taken by the Chinese. Pictures taken by the Chinese, and it shows the landing sites. Pictures taken by the Indians. Pictures taken by the Russians of the landing sites. You can see the footmarks. Neil Armstrong went to the moon, and when he returned, eventually an orange baboon became president. No. Yeah, really grim. Yuri Gagarin wasn't the first man in space. He was the first to come back. Good point, Martin Hammer. One Angry Pagan says, the name of the phylogenetic clade that we chimps, gorillas belong to is homini, the man-like tailless monkeys. Well, I can't say it now. Australopithecus means southern ape, doesn't it? I think. Laika was the first earthling in space. That is true, but she died, which is sad. Because, I did Jonathan Gullis when he started grumbling about taxes. The great apes are fantastic unless they get angry and pull our arms off, which they can do. A fully grown orangutan can pull your arms off. They are incredibly, incredibly strong. It's not my job to fix stupid. My job today is to get myself to Newcastle ahead of my consultation tomorrow, says California Man. Captain Coconut says, India, Chinese, and Japan have taken pictures of the moon landing sites. They were there, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. There are mirrors you can still shine lasers off today. Yeah, and they brought back a load of fucking moon rocks as well. They didn't have the technology at the time. I mean, it doesn't talk about the moon landing thing. I mean, as a filmmaker, wannabe filmmaker, I've worked with film cameras. I've worked with digital cameras mostly, but I have worked with film cameras, and there's no way with the tech that they had in 1969 they could have faked it in that way. They just could not have done it. Absolutely no way. Pigs in Space Wassa documentary. Indeed. What else have we got? I, for one, welcome our new primate overlord, says Amy Walker. I did hear that if you're in Africa and a chimp comes out of the bush, I've read that one. Wallace and Gromit were first on the moon. That is very true. On the grand day out. They had the grand day out, didn't they? Right, I'm going to go and... it's been an hour and a half. So I'm going to piss off now. But we didn't make our target. But even though we didn't make our target, we got that incredible mega chat from Plum Duff. So I'm willing if you are to call it confetti time already. Should we do this? Should we do this instead of hanging around for the next half an hour? Yeah, you don't need to hear me blabble on. We should have sent squids up there Then we could do B-movie voiceover impressions. Squids in space. Rent upon time. Check out the Lang Art Gallery. Oh, in Newcastle. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Been there. Probably Josh. No flushing toilets. What? Mr. Spoon was the first cooking utensil on Button Moon. Mr. Spoon was a fucking perv. Mr. Spoon had a magic telescope, right, to spy back on Earth, right? And what did he use it for? To spy on a little girl playing in her back garden. Yeah. Fucking nonce. No, the clangers live there. The clangers live there. They're endemic. Brit Lionel Jeffries was the first man on the moon in 1969, actually. Yeah. You're soft grey and we should have to end the confetti or it will lose meaning. Yeah, but generally it's like I mean, I could get it if we got a few, you know, £2 super chats. I mean, we've already got it. We got it. The clangers, look at the size of them in comparison to the curvature. They're huge. That's true. Well, what about Mr. Spoon on Button Moon? He's fucking massive. I remember being 5 years old and wondering who took the video of Armstrong stepping off the ladder. I went to Live and looked it up. At that point, I was lost to the vice. Yeah, who took? There was a camera on the leg of the landing craft. Well, I can't believe NASA have wiped the fucking tapes. Fucking dickheads. Right. Anyway, I will be back tonight at 9 o'clock for Stateside. We'll be talking about all the shit that's gone down in America over the last week. And a lot of shit's gone down in America. So I'll be appearing, hopefully, with our friend Scott Williams. So please join us for that. He still hasn't got his Apple Watch, but he will, I'm sure, at some point. I sent him a picture of a watch made out of an apple. He didn't laugh. Anyway, so thanks very much for watching. Before we go, I am going to release the confetti. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, confetti! Thank thumbs up for that. Confetti. It's all good. It's all good to get your confetti fix in. We're off to Button Moon to arrest the nonce, Mr. Spoon. Yeah, what is it with your fucking big telescope looking in the little girl's garden? Freak. Checking on what his wife is up to. Come around here and I'll show you the moon, says L. The whole of the moon. Cool. Okay, so thanks for watching and thanks for the super chats. Give us a like on the way out. We like a like. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I know you're sick of me saying this, but can you please join the channel? Sorry, subscribe to the channel and consider joining it as well. By the way, you can become a member if you want. You can become a member berry. Come on, you all want to be member berries. Come and join it. You get a nice little rose after your name. See Martin Harrow there's got a rose. So Plum's got a rose. Ami's got a rose. You want a rose, don't you? Andy, you want a rose? Get yourself a rose, mate. Go on. You know you want to. Go on. I'm going to get going now. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.